What's up, everyone? It's Kiara with Elite Ambitions. I have my friend Angie with me today. She is a biologist and also an upcoming photographer, and we're here to have a very in-depth conversation about natural beauty and photography today. So I'll let you start the conversation off.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah.
It's not really something that I thought I would have a strong opinion about, I think. I'm pretty new to modeling and to photography in general. And I got into it more for the creative side. Like, I like to do a lot of just like interesting, quirky, funky, creative shoots that have a lot of personality to them. And I've realized getting into this world, especially the women in this world, there's such a pressure to look a certain way, and especially if you're on Instagram or TikTok or whatever social media, there's so much pressure around what we look like all the time, and it's from like the filters people can throw on that completely change their face. So even when you're just talking on your Instagram story, you look totally different, or plastic surgery and a lot of cosmetic work, or Photoshop and all of the things you can do in post. Like, we're just seeing so many changes and so many unrealistic bodies and faces all the time.
That some people almost become unrecognizable.
Yeah.
There was a thing you touched on TikTok. There was a filter that came out on TikTok that was like controversial, and it was like bold glamour or something, and like you put it on and it doesn't like shift. Like, you can wave your hands in front of your face, but it's like you look like you got fucking brow lift, everything from like the eyes down, completely done. And I think that in a way it breeds a unhealthy vision or representation for some people in their heads of what their self-image is. Totally. I believe that the lines become blurred between reality and social media, and that it's a really important thing to appreciate the natural beauty that exists within each individual.
Definitely.
And it's so funny because, you know, you have such a unique look. You have nothing done. You've got naturally curly hair. Your lips are great. Your eyelashes are great. Like, and you pride yourself on being natural, which is great, because the dichotomy between somebody who's done head to toe and the dichotomy of somebody who's done natural, they bring two completely different things to the table. And when I initially reached out to Ange, I wanted her to come on the channel to talk about expressions and be in the expressions episode, because her modeling is so good and her expressions are so good and her art is so real. And then the more that we were chatting, she had an Instagram story that was talking about how it's hard to get engagement, or how it's like a certain niche that seems to get a little bit more attention, where that's where the pressure comes in. It's like, okay, boob job, nose job, BBL, lips, eyelashes. I mean, don't look at me. I'm keeping those. I'm not talking shit about those, but it's an incredibly important thing to exist and appreciate our natural beauty. And I encourage you to check out her page too. We will link it in the comments below, because her modeling is fantastic.
Thank you.
And it just goes to like really show that a natural beauty can be impactful and magnetic as well. And I think
I hope so.
It is. Well, it is. And I shoot all kinds of people, from the ones that have had every procedure done in the book to the ones that have done nothing in the book. And it's great to have the dichotomy between women. But like I was telling you earlier, if you look back to the 1990s, the popular actors or actresses, Cameron Diaz, Julia Roberts, Pamela Anderson, they all look incredibly different. And the more that women get procedures done consistently and want the same things, everyone's starting to look relatively the same.
Yeah, I think people are losing a lot of uniqueness to that, in that hustle to conform, really, and to be as successful as everyone else, and to get the attention online, or to build their business, or like whatever the motivation is. I get it. Like, there's a lot to be gained out there, I think, from that conformity and from looking a lot like your peers, because they're, you see them succeed, you see them get this work done that they can afford, which that in itself is like impressive in this economy. So like, I totally get that. And I respect that for sure. But yeah, I think there's just a lot of pressure that women, especially younger women, see older women who are successful, that have built businesses or done whatever on the internet, look a certain way, and then pretty soon you have all of these people following them also maybe sacrificing some of their own unique traits to look that certain way too. And I guess it just, I don't know, it's a little bit of a bummer to me in a way to see that pressure take over someone's physical personality. And like, if that's what you want to look like and that is important to you and it's what you've dreamed of and you have the means to do it, go for it. Like, by all means, that's, again, impressive. You can pull it off. And I never want to tell anyone how to live their lives or especially what to do with their bodies. So if that's what they want to do, then that's great. But yeah, it kind of, you end up with a lot of people with the exact same look or like the exact same nose or the same features. Yeah, and you can lose some of that.
You can lose some of
variety,
your authenticity, right?
Exactly.
And it's very young minds are on Instagram. Like my niece is like, how old is Taya? 13, 14. She's got Instagram. She's gonna be mad at me for talking about her on this video. But I see like she's on Instagram and if she sees the same shit that I see on Instagram, I'm like, my God, if I was being influenced by magazines at 13, like, you know, Cosmo, sure, my mom might grab it for me at the grocery store, but to have an endless scrolling feed of what you should be doing, how you should look, what these women are doing, the modeling itself on Instagram, it's like,
it's wild.
It's a toxic wasteland for young minds.
It really is. And I could not imagine growing up with access to that. Like, I'm so grateful that we didn't.
I got this stupid ass flip phone, and I don't even think I got it until I was 17, and it was the best thing.
Like, it was the best thing. Yeah,
like T9 like, text where you're like, just to say, what's up? But yeah, so it's like, I think like holistically your viewpoint is coming from a place of like wholeheartedness. Like you just want to see people live their authentic self and like be confident and not tearing themselves apart and constantly feeling like you need more, because it is very much an addiction. Like the more that you get done, like even for me, like I get my lips done, but every second or third day I'm like, oh my God, I have my lips are small.
Do
and
you
I'm like,
feel that way?
I do feel like that way. And then I see myself from another angle, and I'm like, holy shit, chill out on the lip filler here. Right? So it's just like that dichotomy of like, sometimes you need to like find the balance, and that's different line for everybody else, but like remain true to yourself, because photography is for the stay-at-home moms that don't get anything done, the natural models who are still making waves on the internet, because you have a unique look that can't be reciprocated. Like no one can go out and be like, I want to look like you, because what could I do?
Yeah, I would take a lot.
I could get like I could go get a perm. Maybe.
You could dye it and get like, extensions and a perm and whatever.
Like,
and
but like your tattoos are unique, your hair color is unique. Like you just have like that natural, very stunning beauty to you, right?
Thank you.
So many women have that in them, and they just can't see it.
It takes so much work. Like I will be honest, I still struggle with it all the time. And like there are so many days that I'm scrolling Instagram or whatever, and I'm like, man, I wish my boobs were bigger. Like what if I just did that and my boobs were bigger? Would it change my life? Would I feel so much better? Would this fix all my confidence issues or whatever?
I can speak directly to that. It makes you feel good.
Yeah.
But fuck, they are annoying.
Yeah.
They are annoying, and breast implant illness is a huge thing that nobody wants to talk to because there's nothing that proves it. But I've had like at least 10 clients that have gotten explanted, and within a week they're like, my symptoms are gone.
Wow.
You know what I mean? So like, what's the trade-off? Your health?
Yeah.
Your fatigue, your skin, your this, your that, because so many women have issues with them. And even when like I wrestle or I like jujitsu, whatever, like they hurt. Like they're like rolling around and smashing hot water bottles in your chest muscle.
Ow.
So it's, you know, I've been debating getting them taken out. So as a woman who is experiencing like ferocious symptoms that are unexplained with autoimmune and all of these modifications, I know that you do research and you wrote a little bit of a piece on body modifications, right? Could you tell me a little bit more about some of the things that you read in studies when you were doing your job?
Yeah, there's a growing body of research out there about the health impacts of a whole lot of different cosmetic procedures, but especially with breast implants because it's been around a long time. And there have been several different iterations of types of implants too, which seem to have different effects on different people. So far, a lot of that has been pretty inconclusive. It's a lot of variation, depends a lot on the person. But there was one pretty widely reviewed, well, it was a review paper. It reviewed a lot of different studies, and then they take data from all of those studies and compile it and see if there's statistical significance across multiple studies. And there was one that touched mostly on autoimmune disorders, which I know is what you have been dealing with. Yeah.
I have a bingo, right? Yeah. Bingo, you win.
Yeah, and that was one of the strongest symptoms that they had shown in the literature, was that does seem to be connected to different types of implants.
Because it's a huge umbrella of symptoms that the doctors like to call idiopathic, which are not linked to anything. But then, like I said, when my clients get explanted, boom, all symptoms are gone.
Yeah.
But it must have just been in their head.
Yeah, and you hear that anecdote all the time, right? Like, I've heard that from so many people, that they had all of these issues and so many autoimmune issues or skin issues or anything that they just can't figure out and they can't track down. And then they say, well, why don't you just get an explant and see if it helps? And then, within a week sometimes.
Explanting is a huge surgery. Like, you don't read about it when you get your tits done. I surely didn't. But, like, you have to find a doctor that'll take your capsule out. You have to have drains in. Because when you get an implant, you have no skin. Like, my boobs, when they got put in, I had no skin. I was, like, pulled forward like this. And now my skin's stretched and they're, like, normal, whatever. But if I were to take them out, now it's a skin sack of terrible. Now, like, if I just would have left myself alone, I wouldn't have to deal with explanting, surgery, drains, capsule problems. On top of the bleeding disorder that I have, sweet. Now my tits are gonna bleed out because I have to get them taken out.
Yeah, and then maybe the skin tucked after too, if you're gonna handle the extra skin following.
And implants and everything is very much a trend right now, as well as a bunch of other things. Like, my sister is a cosmetic injector and she keeps telling me, less is more, less is more. People are getting less and less and less because the trend is coming back to being a more natural thing.
Yeah, or at least a more skinny thing, which is a whole other issue in itself. But yeah, you see, just like with clothing, these physical trends seem to swing too. And right now it's like big and curvy has been in, so people are getting butt implants or more injections or whatever. But now we're getting that swing back towards that like 90s heroin chic skinny.
Yeah.
So, and you were talking about explant surgery and what a big deal that is. And if you choose to get implants and then have to get them explanted just to follow another trend, it's a lot. It seems like a lot of pressure on your body and your immune system and stress overall.
100%. And like, as a closing statement to the audience, it doesn't matter if you are naturally beautiful or if you're modified. It's whatever you need to do to feel good. But the conversation that we're trying to have is, don't let the societal pressure mold you too much. Like, be authentic to who you are, because everyone is beautiful, everyone has something to offer, and everyone is unique in their own way. And beauty is not black and white. Beauty is completely subjective. Like, what I think is beautiful might be different than what you think is beautiful, and we're all just trying to make it in this world, but just don't sell out. That's my key point for everyone, is don't sell out. Peace!
Angie, add your closing remarks too.
I agree. If you feel like there's a lot of pressure to look a specific way, but you also feel in your core that specific way is not you,
don't do it.
You don't have to do it. You don't have to. You can hang on to your unique look and your unique style, and there's value in that.
Absolutely. Grandpa Craig smoked 80 cigarettes on this couch.
Cut.